9 million players in just 2 weeks. That is the number making the headlines in recent times. It is the kind of milestone that usually signals a masterpiece. And to be fair, if you're just running around the world of Where Winds Meets, fighting bandits, exploring this incredible 10th century map, it certainly feels like one. On the surface, this game is a victory lap. It is a free-to-play AAA experience that feels too good to be true. However, beneath that polished surface, there is a mechanism at work that is, let's say, aggressive. Today, we are not talking about the combats or the graphics, we're talking about the bill. We're going to break down how a $35 outfit in China became a $400 gamble in the West, and why the global version of this game feels less like a localization and more like a tax, at least for the outfits. If you appreciate commentary that respects your intelligence and your wallets, do me a favor and leave a like on the video. It helps more than you think. Now let's look at the numbers behind the headlines. If you only look at the press releases, you would think that Where Winds Meets was purely a victory lap. The Steam reviews are sitting comfortably at very positive, and on paper, the game is a massive runaway success. And honestly, if you boot it up and play for a few hours, you would understand why. This isn't some cheap cash grab taped together in a weekend. The combat is genuinely crispy. The movement, that wuxia fantasy of running on water, climbing walls, it feels incredible. It is a legitimate high-quality AAA experience. In the industry, we call this a Trojan horse. For those who don't know the story, the Trojan horse was a beautiful giant wooden gift left outside the gates of Troy. The people loved it, brought it inside, and then night fell, and soldiers climbed out to destroy the city. Where Winds Meet is a very beautiful wooden horse, and the gameplay is the gift, designed to get you to open the gates. Here is where it gets tricky, and why the arguments online are so heated. The developers have built themselves a very strong shield against criticism. Usually in these games, we complain about pay to win, where a rich player or a whale can just swipe their credit card and become instantly stronger than everyone else. Where Winds Meets doesn't really let you do that, or at least they manage to hide this better than most. The game uses a stamina system. Think of it like a battery that powers your ability to run dungeons for loot. You regenerate 1 point of stamina every 8 minutes. I regenerate 1 point every 8 minutes. The guy who just spends $40,000 on a boat also regenerates 1 point every 8 minutes. The game also uses a server level cap. This means that no matter how much money a whale spends, they can't be level 60 on day 1 while you're stuck at level 20. The server locks them to the same level as you. Sure, they might buy the battle pass for a few extra stamina potions or a little more healing, but they generally cannot buy a magic sword with 10 times your damage stats. This is brilliant design, but not for the reasons you think. It is brilliant because it gives the developers a perfect balance. Every time someone points out that a costume costs $400, they can simply point at the level cap and say, but look, progression is gated. We're not selling power directly. And technically they have a point. The game feels fair, but that feeling of fairness is being used to distract you from the fact that while the carnival rides are free, the concession stand is charging $500 for a bottle of water. Now let's talk about that water. Usually when a game moves from one region to another, you expect minor changes. Maybe the servers are in a different spot, or the event schedule shifts. What you generally don't expect is for the entire store to be surgically reconstructed to make you pay more. Yet that is exactly what happened here. In China, Where Winds Meets operates on a commodity model. That is a fancy way of saying it works like a normal grocery store. You see a cool outfit you like? Take the Veiled Edge as our example. You look at the price tag, it is about 35 USD. You pay the money and you own the outfit. Simple transaction complete. On the global version, that outfit was removed from the shelf entirely. You cannot buy it. Instead, they moved it into the casino model. They took that same $35 skin and locked it inside the Celestial Echo banner. This is the Gacha, a loot box system where you pay money to pull a random item, hoping you get what you want. To hide the real cost, they use a clever bit of math. And nowadays, most Gacha games have a safety net called pity. This means if you're unlucky for a long time, for a number of pulls you're not getting what you want, in this case, 150 pulls, the game feels bad and guarantees you a high-ranking item. You may think, okay, so if I have bad luck, I just have to pay for 150 pulls to get the outfit, right? Well, not really, you're wrong. In the global version, hitting that safety net, that pity, doesn't give you the outfit, it gives you an orb. An orb is just an exchange token. Think of it like a ticket you win at an arcade. Here is the kicker though. The premium outfits, the ones that give you the cool white hair or the special effects, cost 2 orbs. Let's do the math. To guarantee this outfit, you need to hit the safety net twice. That is 300 pulls, baby. At roughly $1.50 a pull, you are looking at spending nearly 450 US dollars. Quick correction correction from 𝗖𝗆𝗆𝗵𝗁 in the future. That 450 estimate, that was actually being generous. If you're buying the currency directly without the limited first-time bonuses, community math suggests the worst-case scenario for a guaranteed outfit is actually closer to $670. So yeah, it's worse. We're talking about the exact same digital file that a player in China can buy directly for 35 bucks. It is not an inflation adjustment. It is an 1100% markup simply because your IP address says that you live in the West. It is a global tax, and it is being applied to almost everything you actually want. If you thought $450 for a dress was where the rabbit hole ended, you might want to grab a shovel because we're going much deeper. Acquiring the item is actually just the entry fee. $450 entry fee, that is insane. The real money pit is a little system called reforging. You see, when you finally pull that rare weapon skin you wanted, you don't just have the cool version of it, you usually get a basic ugly version. Well, not really ugly, but like incomplete version. To get the gold or ice glowing effects you see in the trailers, you have to gamble on 4 separate parts of the weapon: the color, the blade, the guard, and the hilt. It works like a slot machine. You spin the wheels and maybe you get the gold blade. Great, you want to keep that. So the game lets you lock that slot so it doesn't change on your next spin. The catch is that every time you lock a slot, the price of the next spin goes up exponentially.
This is correct. So now it gets worse. So now it's ice. This is the correct one. You lock it, it gets worse. Now it costs 2 rocks to reroll. You lock another one, it costs 5. You lock the last one, it costs 10. 10 is crazy. That means you press this button once, it's $30 gone.
And by the time you have 3 of the 4 parts locked in, say you have the blade, the guard, and the hilt perfectly gold, and you are just waiting for that final color match, a single click of the reforge button costs about 30 USD. That is $30 every time you twitch your index finger. And there is no guarantee that you will get it, which is awesome, isn't it? We saw this play out in real time with content creators. One streamer went in planning to spend about $300 to get a cool spear.
Hold on. Does it look cool? It does, in fact, look cool. But it could look even cooler. All right, so do I just click this button? Let's just see if it. We're just gonna see if it's a. We're just gonna see if it's a scam. That's what we're gonna see. It's a scam. Why didn't it change? Why didn't it? Why it didn't change? Do you have to get all the way to here to get the spearhead to change? And then all the way here to get the shaft to change? And then all the way here to get the sheath to change? And then all the way here to get the light? So I can't even get a light unless I get to the other side of the thing. Okay, so how many times do I have to do it? How many times do I have to do it to get like this one? Right? 30 times? 30 times. 30 times. 30 times. 200. 6,000. Okay, 6,000. Well, that's only 6,000. That's... Well, shit, that's only like 150 bucks. 200 stones for the glow. So I need to buy 200 reforged stones for the glow. For a glow. Right? And it's random which one it is. Oh, God. Okay, hold on. So 200, that's 200 times 200, which is 40. Okay. And 40,000 pearls is... How much is 40,000 pearls? Okay. So let me get this straight.
He got trapped in this reforged loop. He had spent so much money getting the first 3 parts that he couldn't stop, or all of that money would be wasted. Psychologists call this, and I bet you've heard this before many times in this channel, sunk cost fallacy. It is the feeling that you have invested too much to quit now. By the time he got his digital spear to turn gold, he had spent over $2,200, man.
What the heck?
Man, you could have gotten a blowjob, bro.
Sorry, children. This is supposed to be a family-friendly channel.
Remarkably, even that isn't the ceiling. Deep in the crafting menu, there is a blueprint for a guild boat. It is a massive luxury ship your whole party can ride on. To build it, you need 170 specific items that only drop from the gacha. When you crunch the numbers, this boat costs roughly 40,000 USD. That is the price of a real world car. God damn. Now you might be asking, who is actually buying a $40,000 video game boat? The answer is probably nobody. And that is exactly the point. This is a sales tactic called price anchoring. If the most expensive thing in the shop is $500, you think, wow, that's expensive. But if the most expensive thing is $40,000, suddenly that $500 outfit looks kind of reasonable. It looks like a steal. What a deal. The boat exists to make you feel smart for only spending half a grand on a costume. It resets your brain definition of what expensive is. Now you might think that you're above it. You don't think that way. I can assure you there is someone on the internet that feels that way. And you gotta look at it from their perspective, man. This is the way companies prey on, for the lack of better term, misguided people. Now you can ignore the $40,000 boats. You can choose not to gamble on the weapon skins, but one thing you cannot ignore is what the developers deleted to make this economy work. The biggest tragedy here isn't the price hike, it is the removal of the trading system. In the Chinese version, the game has a feature called the 𝗖ecie𝗽𝗆𝗵𝗁. It is a player market that facilitates a circular economy. Basically, if you are a free-to-play player with zero money but a lot of time, you can grind for rare materials. Then you sell those materials to the rich players, the whales, who have money but no time. The whale gets this item and you, the free player, get premium currency. It's a job, basically. Your time has value. Eventually, if you work hard enough, you can buy the cool outfits from the shop just by playing the game. In the global version, they cut that wire. The trading system is gone. The result is an economy that acts like a sink. Money flows from your wallet to the developer and it stops there. It never flows between players. If you are a free-to-play player, there is no amount of grinding that will ever get you that premium currency. You are permanently locked out of the economy. This makes a rigid social divide inside the game. You see, when the game uses a specific visual language for wealth, the free dyes are all earth tones. Browns, grays, muddy greens. You look like a peasant, for the lack of better term. The premium dyes, the ones that cost real money, are the bright reds, the golds, and specifically the pure white hair. White hair in this game isn't just a style choice, it's a receipt. It is proof of purchase. When you walk around the main city, you see two distinct classes of people: the glowing golden gods, who have spent $500 to turn the lights on, and the gray muddy masses who are just trying to play the game. The problem is, an MMO needs those muddy masses to survive. If a free player feels like their time is worthless, if they know they will always look like a background NPC no matter how hard they work, they tend to quit. And when the free players quit, the whales have nobody to show off to. The server becomes a whale ghost town. It is highly profitable for a few months, sure, but once the servers go quiet, even the whales swim away. Whenever you bring up these issues, there's always that one guy in the comments who says, "Who cares? It is just cosmetics. You don't need a pretty dress to kill the boss." Well, yeah, you're right. Sure, on paper, you are correct. But in a massively multiplayer game, just cosmetic is a lie we tell ourselves. Social standing is a gameplay. Looking cool is the endgame. If everyone else looks like a legendary hero and you look like a potato sack because you didn't spend $500, your experience is worse. That is just human psychology. Even if you don't care about fashion, the just cosmetic excuse falls apart when you look at the mounts. You see, the paid horses aren't just shinier. They have skills. They can double jump, auto path to resources, and collect items for you. That isn't vanity, that is utility. That is a paid advantage that saves you time and lets you move around the map differently than a free player. That is soft power, and it is definitely for sale. What if you want to participate but you aren't rich? The game offers you the monthly pass. It is $5. It looks like a great deal for the minnows, the small spenders, right? The dolphins. However, the math tells a different story. The pass gives you exactly one paid gacha pull per month. Remember, you need 150 pulls to guarantee a prize. So if you rely on this $5 pass, it will take you 12 and a half years to hit pity once. By the time you get your guaranteed outfit, we will be playing GTA 6. We will be playing Ananta. I don't know where that game went, to be honest. And Genshin Impact has finally concluded their story. Okay, I need to be fair here. 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗵𝗁 from the future again. That 12-year figure assumes you only buy the pass. If you actually grind every single free resource of the currency, weekly shops, events, everything, you know, like actually play the game, the math works out to about 1 year to hit pity once, or 2 years to guarantee the specific 2-orb outfit you want. So you won't be waiting for the PlayStation 7, just the PlayStation 6, which is still actually pretty bad. The pass isn't there to help you get items, it is a dolphin trap. Its only job is to get get you used to opening the gacha menu, to get you comfortable with being a spender, so that one day, when you are frustrated, you might just swipe for the full amount. This brings us to the final question. Why are the developers so quiet? The PC community is on fire, the forums are burning down, and the studio hasn't said a word. And that silent isn't an accident, it is a strategy. They are waiting for December 12th, the day the mobile version launches. They're betting everything on a simple fact. Mobile gamers are different. Mobile gamers are used to gacha. They are used to paying for convenience. The developers are holding that a wave of millions of mobile players will flood the servers, spend money without complaining, and completely drown out the angry PC players. They're not fixing the problem because to them, the PC players aren't the customers. We are just the beta testers waiting for the real whales to arrive. So where does that leave us? When you take a step back and look at the whole picture, Where Winds Meet is in a very strange position. It is effectively a hostage situation. The hostage is the game itself, this beautiful, high-quality open world with incredible combat. The captor is this casino-style economy that has been engineered specifically to extract maximum value from the Western markets. The game wants you to have fun. The community wants to see how much you are willing to lose. If you are going to play, and honestly, the combat is good enough that you probably should, my advice is to adopt the mindset of a tourist. Treat this game like a theme park. You go there and ride the roller coasters. You go there to see the sights, but you absolutely refuse to buy the overpriced souvenirs at the gift shop. Play the story, fight the bosses, enjoy the fact that the stamina system keeps the actual gameplay fair, but do it with the acceptance that you are going to look basic. You won't have the glowing sword, you won't have the white hair, you will look like a generic NPC, but in exchange for looking boring, you get to play a AAA game for free, and you get to keep your dignity. Because the moment you open that cash shop, you are not playing a game anymore, you are entering a rigged system that was designed to beat you. And that brings me to the question I want to leave you with today. The data makes it clear this wasn't an accidental pricing error. It was a deliberate restructuring to charge global players 12 times more than the players in China for the exact same items. Do you believe a publisher is justified in doing that simply because the region is different? My answer is of course not, but you can have your own opinion. Or is this finally a bridge too far for an economy that claims to be optional? Let me know what you think in the comments below, but that is all from me, 𝗖𝗍𝗆𝗆, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!